Hello, it's Kadisha. I'm back with another video. People will try you. People will try you. So I'm over here minding my own business because that's what I do best. That is what the Lord has taught me. I got to mind my own business. And I be working in this off, and I call it my office because people don't be going in there. So I be working in there. And this lady, she was coming there on multiple times and saw me working in there. She was like, can I use this computer? I'm like, of course you can. And today she saw me there. She's like, ma'am, you always in here. She gonna say, do you work? I'm like, ma'am, how do you think I would be living here if I did not work? Like, I gotta work, ma'am. But oh, that cracked me up because I said, this lady just tried me. This lady just tried me. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. But we started cracking up laughing. And I asked, I said, so where do you work? And she told me where she worked. And she's like, but you don't work there. And I was like, no, I do not work there, ma'am. And we just had us a good old laugh. Had us a good old laugh. And I said, that's the Lord. That is the Lord. Because I'm over here living my life to where people think I don't work. And then I was talking to somebody and I was asking, I was like, how long you lived here? This same day. And they told me how long they lived here. And they were like, and I was like, well, so what do you do? And, I asked them if they started coming to the events. Do they come to the events all the time? Because there was an event going on. And they were like, no, I had kind of stopped coming back in, this time. And I was like, oh, okay, why'd you stop coming? And I want to say, I don't know why exactly they said that, why they stopped coming. But I asked them what they do for a living, and they were like, they told me where they're living. And I was like, oh, that's not, bad. And they were like, I'm stressed today. That's why I had to come over here because I'm stressed. Well, I'm cracking up. Not because people stressed. No, of course not. But I'm just like, oftentimes, we would correlate like having a high paying job as something that would, and wouldn't say necessarily bring us peace, but we think like more money, as we know what Biggie said, more money, more problem. But no, not for us. Um, but oftentimes higher paying jobs are also equal to like higher stress. Unfortunately, especially in the world that we are in today. So, am I saying that you can have a low stressful job and it be high paying? Of course, you can. With the Lord, everything is possible. However, we can't get so caught up on making more money that we lose the sight of being really free and having a peaceful life. I seen this actually on, I want to say it was a movie. Was it a movie I saw this on? Yes, it was a movie. I saw this on, and of course, most time you like, oh, that's a movie, you can't do it. And it was a TV show, and it showed like these people were in these higher paying jobs, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it brought them stress. However, in one particular situation, this person was stealing from the job, and they were also about to be, and not really, but they were very like not doing well in their marriage. And we have to make sure like it balances out. And by the end, because it was a faith-based movie, so they ended up, he got fired from the job because he got caught stealing. But he ended up getting a job that paid less, but it was more purposeful, and he felt really good about it. And the wife was like, I'm so happy for this. And in the TV show that I watched, it was the same thing, like very high, I guess, high paying job, stressful job, to the point where the person got sick. And it was so sad because the people that often are in these high paying jobs, if you're not the CEO of a company, it's a little bit different. But if you're in those manager or I want to say project manager roles, oftentimes they're more concerned about what the work that you do instead of you as a person. And I can't speak for every company because, of course, that's not true. I'm generalizing. But for the most part, they're like, if you don't produce, you're gone. I don't care what's going on with your family at home. I don't care whatever you have going on. We have a business here. And I know that's the way you got to be sometimes. Like, you can't allow your personal stuff to affect how you do in business. However, that person is still a person. But yeah, even for, and this is a TV show I was talking about, even for that person's birthday, like they brought them something, like they brought them a big basket. They have been working there for years. And they brought them a big basket with things that they were allergic to. And so it just goes to show that they didn't really, and not to say they didn't care about the person, but because they're like, oh, I remembered your birthday. But it's just like, I'm allergic to these things that you've gifted me with. So now it's just like, you don't care, you don't really know me, and I've worked here for years. And essentially, you're not trying to get to know me because you're just like, hey, I sent you a basket full of this stuff and I'm allergic to this. So it's just like, we have to think about these things. And someone asked me a really good question today, and I was just like, and it was so funny because they asked me, like, before you answer, be sure, like, think about it. Like, I'm not gonna think about it before I answer. But they were like, do you think that you could be a person can be financially stable now compared to when you first started working? And the answer was yeah. And I didn't really need to think about that. But it like goes to show, like, people will allow other people to place their value on them. So someone can't tell me how valuable I am. Like, only I can tell you how valuable I am. And once we get to that place, then you won't be in a high stress job unless you like that stuff, and nearly killing yourself in order to pay bills. We got to pay bills. I'm not saying any of that. However, being stressed is not good because you will not last. And the Lord is just allowing me to realize this. I've kind of gone on a tangent here, but I'm enjoying it. The Lord has allowed me to realize that the problem isn't not enough money. It's the lack of discipline that we have. And we blame lack of money on the reason why we do certain things, the reason why we act out, the reason why we can't get ahead, the reason why we overwork ourselves. And I'm just like, I'm all for working. I'm all now. I'm not trying to act like we should not be working. However, I'm all for not being stressed out to the point where you feel like at the end of the day, you have to drink your problems away. You have to gamble your problems away. You have to do things that don't necessarily line up with your morals and what you know what's right or wrong. And this is a tough pill. It's a tough pill. And I'm swallowing it myself. I'm swallowing it because I've been in those seasons where I work, and I believe it was a time for that. It's a time for that. Like Ecclesiastes tells us, it's a time for everything. But let's not get so caught up on working so much that we don't truly enjoy life and enjoy the people around us. Because one thing I do know is that this life comes to an end. And at the end of your life, do you want to say how much money you made, or how much of an impact you were in your family? How much time you got to spend with your family? How you made a difference in your community? And those are the things that will be important. Like, will people remember you 50 years from now? And not to say we do things for people to remember us, but it's just like, are you more concerned about money or impact? And only you know that, and only you can change that. So thank you so much for watching. Like I always say, sa cambio que quieres ver en otros. Until next time. Bye.